Hello. So, my name is Natalie Nicolaides. I'm currently the curator for your show that you're having at CCA at the Intermedia Gallery in May 2022. It's been a long time coming. 2 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time since.
Yeah. Gemma, if you want to you are Gemma Jones. You are the Gemma Jones.
Yes, my name is Gemma. I am a white female presenting woman. I've got brown hair and brown eyes, and I'm wearing a purple jumpsuit, as we said. And yeah, I don't know what to describe myself as, the artist, the performer. And yeah, I'm really excited. This has been a long time of research, and I've wanted to do this for so long, and yeah, I'm happy to talk about it.
So I am also a female presenting human. I have brown hair that's short-ish, and I'm wearing glasses that are gold, and I've got hazel eyes and brownish skin, Mediterranean.
Perfect.
So I think the one thing that we bonded of, I think from the start when we started discussing the project, is we were discussing Marina Abramovich's work and how we both think she's amazing. I know that a lot of people tend to not talk very nicely about Marina, and I'm not quite sure why, but I loved that I could open up to you and say, I love her work, and you were like, yes. And then you started discussing her mirror piece, which was something that you initially wanted for this work. If you want to discuss that a bit.
Yeah, so I have when did I kind of trying to think back of when I kind of ever first saw her work. When I was in my undergraduate at the Glasgow School of Art, I kind of saw her piece in a textbook of where she lived in the gallery for however many days, and I didn't really fully understand it at first. And then when I first got into, the first point of performance art that I ever had was I had a guest lecturer on my course, Alison Kean, and she was Irish, and she was like, you should be doing, or she was like, have you ever heard of performance, because your work is very bodily, and I was like, no, not really, I've heard of Marina and the stuff that kind of happened in with the Vienna actionists and stuff. And she was like, have you heard of this artist called Amanda Coogan? And she was one of Marina's students. And that's kind of how I really started learning about Marina, because Amanda Coogan is an Irish artist who's been a huge inspiration for me. And she learned Marina's method. She went on these cleaning the house workshops. And then I bought the book from Oxfam, and it's this big chunky book, and it's got all of her exercises in it. It was it took me ages to find. And one of the pieces was when she holds a mirror in front of her, and she uses the mirror to walk backwards over a period of time. And I absolutely loved it. And when I was outside, getting some air when I was really ill, I would think of one of the easiest things for me to do was just pick up a mirror and walk backwards. And that's kind of, I initially wanted to kind of respond to that. And then it just so happened that there was a lot more that I wanted to put in the performance, and I didn't want to just respond to that one tiny bit. but yeah, that's how I learned about her work. And I think what I love about Marina is just her dedication to performance, and like it is her life's work. And I read her autobiography recently, and she just lives and breathes it. And she like, I understand why kind of people don't like the kind of how she's become like a more popular figure and stuff, but the actual performance itself and the method, I really like the learning and training of performance. I When I was younger, I was a competitive swimmer, and when I stopped swimming, I got into art. And then when I was on my undergraduate, I came to this point where I learned about performance art, and it was like about endurance and body, and it felt like it was kind of made for me in a way, because I'd kind of had this training upbringing for so many years. I started at 12 years old, and then stopped when I did my A levels because of an injury. And then that kind of, yeah, how I kind of fell into performance as this like kind of body training. I'm coming now, I suppose we'll talk about how now my work has become less physical because of my illness, but that is how I kind of got into it. And yeah, I suppose that's my kind of that's why I love talking about Marina, because like she loves it. It's like she does like have like the biggest passion for it, and like that's what I love. I suppose I love people that love performance. So
Yeah. We also used to talk quite a lot about Anne Imhoff and her work, who was kind of like a modern contemporary version of Marina. Not to say that Marina isn't contemporary, but more because it's chaos. Her work is chaos, and it's great.
yeah.
And it's whereas Marina kind of just uses herself and her body in a very much old school manner of performance art, especially female performance art, such as Yoko Ono, who had the cut piece and so on. Anne Imhoff is like, I want to hire all of these people, and we're all gonna run in a room and act mad, and it's phenomenal. And we were discussing about going to Paris to see her work at the Palais de Tokyo, but then, you know, pandemic happens.
Yeah.
But I just remember early conversations where we were talking about that, and that's something that maybe will be in the future. But
Yeah, I mean, I love Anne Imhoff. She's some like the thing about I saw her work. I went down to Tate Modern, and I saw her piece, which was called Sex.
Yeah,
and it was 5 hours long, and it was this difference of duration, because I stayed for I think I stayed for 4 hours. I didn't quite manage 5 because there wasn't like the most comfortable seating. But she kind of took, what I love about her, she took like performance and duration and just like completely turned it it was something I'd never seen before. Kind of like she has like choreography and architecture, the huge kind of installations that she's built, and then there's painting, and then there's ready-made objects, and there's this huge link to fashion when a lot of the performers are models. And it's a kind of like a merging of many different things. And I suppose I loved the kind of ambition of it. And I suppose I couldn't really tell anyone how I managed to stay for that long. It was just, there was a real sense of community as well. Like I spoke to quite a few people there, because a lot of people turned up on their own, and I was there on my own. And there was kind of, the space was vast because it was in the tanks of the Tate Modern, so it was huge. But yeah, whenever I like feel like I want to connect, or if I feel like a little bit lost, I always there's a video of her work. Is it Faust?
post that was it was
Yeah, and
lovely.
that's on YouTube of her at the Biennale, and I
Yeah,
was so
Biennale.
happy when we kind of bonded over that because yeah, I just think I
Yeah, I
think
think that was from 2017. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Venice. Yes.
I'm just get my prompts back up. Do you want to take a quick break? Is now break time?
No, it's okay.
We're good?
Yep.
Cool. Um, so I guess we're gonna go on to talk about a bit about hosting Stillness and where does it come from and where is it going and how it looks like and basically our stuff. Well, your stuff that I'm helping.
Yes. So let me think.
If anything, I'd like to hear more about the score because I know that you and Martina Morga, who is associated with the project, have been working together on it for quite some time. And I've heard a couple of iterations, but I'm not sure where we currently are. So it'll be nice to hear how it's developing. How do you feel it's come along, and how do you feel the audience will respond to it?
So the score has come a long way. I've been working on it for some time, and basically my previous work usually so I have, before I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and endometriosis, the way I kind of worked was I would read and research vigorously in various themes that were appropriate that I was kind of thinking about, and I would be looking for like a quote or a kind of sense of something, and then I always have been a person who makes work that's I'm like responsive to kind of, I always would like predominantly reading was a huge part of my practice. And then when I became ill, I was suddenly bedbound with like I didn't have the ability to read, and I was very isolated, so it was quite solitary. And I I then kind of had to like rethink my practice in the way that I had to like relearn kind of how to live with a disability. So I Martina is a close friend of mine. She's also a performance artist who has practiced in Glasgow and before, and she was an amazing support for me because initially when we were researching for this project, I would kind of message some prompts that I was thinking, and she would actually do them for me. And we were kind of thinking it was going to be like a kind of host body. That was what the project was going to be. She was there kind of performing for me in the way that kind of Anne Imhoff kind of has her people that perform for her, and she kind of messages them live to do that in the space. And then I suppose I didn't that just I can't really describe why that kind of like didn't feel off. I maybe didn't feel like that was too much of myself like in the work. So I kind of found through kind of therapy of my illness, I found that writing was a really good way of both distracting myself from a pain flare and also doing work, which made me feel good. So I would write these jot things down that I like wish I could be able to do, and they then became poems or kind of some sort. I wasn't really sure what they were. And then I then realized that there was some like real potential in these, and these could be the things that I was responding for. These were the things that I would be responding to instead of someone else's research, because I'd made the research myself. Mm-hmm. So that's when I kind of used that as my body of my body of research, and then I was creating movements and tasks from that. And I think I wrote a bit about the score. So the score basically is in 5 parts. Yeah. And it kind of, the main kind of broad summary of it is it looks at the minimal movement, and how that can become profound, and how you can feel time and space and get this sense of a durational piece that is sometimes not always, not in a physically demanding way, but the body struggle is then celebrated, and many different dimensions and images and what it can make. So I'm taking something like kind of like, it's my imagination, I suppose, and then I'm putting it into how I see that as a movement, and then I'm putting that into the space and responding to that live, and kind of what that kind of looks like. I don't know if that kind of makes sense, because I've not actually said what it actually entails, but I suppose the themes in the work itself are they're kind of based on like a utopia, in a sense of like, I don't wish that I could be something else, but it's about my body extending. So there's lots of reference of like references of nature and references of the water, because I would swim a lot to help with the pain. And I really like the hydrofeminism on or becoming water, which me and Martina have used before. And it's themes of kind of nature, like body becoming bigger than itself. And my partner lives in Newcastle on the coast. I would often go to the sea and I would write, and there's also bits about Martina and how I wish. So it's basically kind of accumulating everything that I've kind of been to, and then looking at moments in time, like utopias, wishes, aspirations, and also like different variations of them as well, because my work has always been like looking at language in a different way, and how words can then become movements, then become images, and how like the possibilities are that's what I get excited about in performance, is if I start off with this material and then it then transforms and then transforms and then transforms, and then there's this by the end of it I've got this image that I didn't even know existed. So I'm trying to connect that in a way to what I also used to do, but in this sense it's about it's just coming across in a different way. I'm not going to push my body in the work. I'm going to be safe, it's going to be accessible, I'm going to be it's an introduction into my space. And I think that's what the audience will respond to, I suppose, because I've been bedbound for a very long time, and therefore not, and I feel like also because of the nature of the arts being in person, a performance, you have to have people there. There was no way of me to like test out ideas with the audience. So I think like it'll be really interesting to kind of have people come into my space and kind of see what it's like to be kind of in bed for so long, and like having this kind of aspiration and kind of looking at like the world through a different lens of having a chronic illness and all that comes with it. I'm trying to think if I've what else is
yeah, when I initially came on to the project, it was still in the first phase of Martina's going to be your host body, and that's how hosting Stillness came about.
Yeah.
And then it was really quite natural in the way it developed from hosting Stillness of someone actually being the host to now we're hosting the audience in this kind of stillness that is your space.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to see how the audience will react to that as well, because it has been a long time. And you did have a segment last year where you were at the CCA and you were testing the performance and the space and how you feel in the space. But again, that was in 2021. Everything was heavily locked down. It couldn't be public facing. So it's going to be really interesting to bring the audience into a space, and we hope that they will engage in the space the way we need them. Well, not the way we need them, but the way they should engage in the space. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing how people engage with it and engage with you.
Definitely. I am as well, because I've not really I've not really had that much. I have performed last year in 2 projects, but this is a much bigger, grander project, and it'll be really interesting to see, because it will be quite an intimate space, and I actually personally prefer more intimate performances for my own work, because there's a real sense of connection and community, and the people who come to the space want to see what performance is about, and they've gone in there for a reason, because they kind of curious.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll kind of mirror this essence of like safeness that I kind of desired when I was going through a not so nice time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I suppose that leads quite well onto the object that the audience will have in the space. So I can't remember when, but I kind of discovered this idea. Oh no, I can't remember when. I had a conversation with Ainsley Roderick. Yeah, and she was the curator at the CCA before she left to move to a new position. And we had a really good conversation that I still remember very well to this day about if you were given a 3-month show, how would you kind of fill it? How would you kind of have a live performance go on for that end of time? And that really made me think, because I've been really unwell from performances, and I know Marina pushes herself, and I know performance artists that I've learned from and who have mentored me, like they have impeccable strength, but I did still want to keep myself kind of safe, and I was starting to get unwell at the time. And we kind of thought about how there would be the absence and presence of the body and what that means, and I found that so interesting to kind of think about this like archive of performance. And yeah, so that kind of manifested into the fact that what would I kind of do, and it also linked really well to me and my abilities, because there will be times in the performance that I'm resting and I'm recuperating and things like that, and I wanted the audience to kind of feel that absence but also kind of have something to engage with. So we're going to have a booklet or some sort that has the score and the poems and writings on, so that can be felt in the space, and that is an archive that they then take with them. And yeah, I really hope that that kind of goes well. And I think it's really, I often get I'm grateful to get really nice compliments on my scores and what goes into the performance and what goes into this research, because it's not just the live moment. There's a lot of, and even this training that that some performances do, some don't, that I like to do, because I like to kind of I enjoy doing it. And yeah, I think that the score being there will connect things as well, and also help with accessibility, because on one hand, I feel like the performance is whatever you want it to be, and on the other hand, it's really nice to have context. And sometimes big long blurbs are quite hard for people to kind of, if they've never gone to see art before. So I hope that they and them will archive this, and they'll look back within a few years and kind of have something that's theirs. And yeah, I'm excited to see how that will be in the space.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it too. It's all in our minds just now.
Yeah.
It will become a reality. Otherwise, I think we're more or less done. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I think so. Unless you want to talk a bit more about us, because we've not really talked about how we work, I suppose. But I don't know if that's, you're the boss of this.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to edit that out. I'm not the boss. I feel like we've touched how, I guess, we do well together because we both like the same kind of performance. And I really, really wanted to work with yourself. We met a while ago through mutual friends. Every time I see you, I still can't believe how much shorter I am than you. That is a legit thought that goes through my mind. Every time I see you, I'm like, oh, it's Gemma! Gemma. But that's just because I'm tiny. Okay, it's fine. It's just anything. I also really wanted to work with you because you like the same colors as I do. I love me a purple. You let me do everything in purple. But also, like, just the fact that you also have Martina, who's like a powerhouse. And I think together, you guys are probably the most impressive female performers. Sometimes, like, when I look on your Instagram or I look on Martina's Instagram and I see the pictures of you that you've performed together previously, it's just, I'm just in awe. Like, they weren't even tiny exhibitions, they're large exhibitions.
Yeah.
And like gallery spaces in Central Europe. They're not small exhibitions, they're not small projects. And
yeah,
the two of you together, you're just fierce.
yeah.
So anything I can do to get closer, I will. Essentially, in a nutshell. So this is me fangirling over you.
Oh, I don't know how to take compliment. But I think also, like, it's really good to have good people around you and good people to work with on a project, because I don't think I would have been able to make this project without the support of you and Martina. And I mean that, like, completely honestly. I think that, yeah, I hope in a way that everyone kind of gets like a really good kind of that there is a benefit for everyone. It's not just me and my project. It's like really nice to kind of work with friends, but also like really like amazing professionals in their own right. And yeah, I mean, Martina is an incredible support to me and was there just like you were in my darkest of times. And I think that it's really relevant to the project, because I think working with someone who kind of doesn't understand like my illness and kind of all those things is really important, because it then translates in the way it's executed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I love the team.
I love that it's a team too, and we don't seem to be trying to one up each other. It's just
No.
we're moving together as a unit, and
Yeah.
it feels good. And it's a commentary on people who feel like they can do everything themselves. It's like, just ask for some help, even if you're not unabled.
Yeah.
There are people.
Yeah, for sure. Like I owe all of my kind of achievements from help. And I think when I lost all of my ableisms, I had to ask for help. And I think that has really benefited me in my art practice, because yeah, I wouldn't have been able to curate a project or write the performance to the standard. And yeah, it's just really nice to embrace the help rather than feel like, yeah, you have to kind of project manage and curate. Also, I love like getting people who are an expert on what they do. Like, I think that that's really amazing. I couldn't curate and don't have the experiences as you do, and then it just brings in another body, another friend, and it's like, yeah, I think that will definitely come out in the work for sure, because there will be no it won't be like this stressful kind of environment. It will be kind of what we created.
Yeah, you said something earlier that was interesting, where you when you were talking about your disability and how we were there for you. I don't think that you were particularly demanding when it started to really come into your life. But I know that you've mentioned that you lost some people due to it, and it wasn't a big leap to go from fully able Gemma to a little bit tired Gemma.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, it was pretty much kind of an overnight thing, which is, yeah, it was hard.
It was very difficult, and I know, because I was there, and we had many a conversation around it. I just, yeah, I'm trying not to make a sweeping statement, but I'm here for you. Because
you.
it's not that difficult to be here for you.
Yeah, and I really hope that this work does kind of really attract the kind of people who share these experiences, and I really hope it's for them just as much as it is for me, because yeah, it yeah, I'm not like at the top of any hierarchy. This is for very much believe that this is for other artists who have this experience, because I've spoken to a few artists in like the Glasgow network who also have restrictions of their own, and yeah, I've been nothing but welcoming, and I've really learned from speaking to people. And yeah, I don't think this will end. Like, I'm just looking at the point of what form will my work take from now. I don't I don't think that my work will dramatically change. I think that I will get more confident in operating as an artist who has to take these new measures and everything that I do. But I really hope that, yeah, I can use it, and I don't know, I might do then work that is nothing to do with illness, but it will always kind of inform my decisions. And it took me a really, really long time, almost 2 years, to kind of see it as a celebratory thing rather than a kind of loss. Yeah, and I'm really excited to show it in the way, like, what's the word? That acceptance in a form of an exhibition, because because I love performance.
And it's also it's nice that an offshoot of this exhibition is the Performance Café, where you can just have like a group of performance artists just supporting each other.
Yeah.
In their inability or disability. I look forward to that too.
Yeah, definitely.
And seeing what that may take and what relationships that produces and what work that produces.
Yeah.
Definitely important.
Yeah, because in relation to like COVID and the isolation that came from that, and then also like the isolation that I then went through with my health, I was in a position where I was not near any, well, I was the nearest kind of performance artist to me when I had to spend time with my parents was Birmingham, and that's still like a good hour trip. So I was very isolated from any kind of performance. And it's been my dream for a very long time to kind of create a group that kind of just holds each other accountable for making work. And I mean that in not a kind of you have to do this by next month, just the fact that performers we need audience. And a lot of kind of like festivals and performance nights, certainly when I see things around are unpaid, and it's this idea of I thought it would be a really good way of kind of like a crit kind of scratch thing. And also I love the collaborative approach of performance, and hearing how other people make work. I find it fascinating how different it is from me, and I learned that through Martina, in even that we work together in a separate collaborative form. Her mind, although we have very similar parts, it's also very different, and how she gets from A to B is sometimes different how I get there. And I wrote down here, actually, I wrote down a list of performance artists who have influenced me, like Anheim Hoff and Sandra Johnson and Alistair McLennan and Amanda Coogan, Kira Riley. And at the bottom I've put my friends inspire me, Martina, Steph and Cece. So it's the fact that like at my doorstep, at my kind of friend support, I've got people that are such amazing kind of artists, and they are learning from each other, I think is really, really special, really. Yes, I hope it goes well.
It will. Should we close it off?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's...
I'm surprised I managed to do it, to be honest, for now.
Why?
Just because of my pain. I thought I'd need a break, but I actually did okay.
So something was binging and I wasn't sure.
Congratulations! We did it!
Yes! We are good! Okay, I'm going to stop recording.
Yeah, stop recording.
Stop.